Hello folks, welcome back. Scottish Boy 112 here with a top 5 in the main series games for Pokemon. Disclaimer, these are my opinions, so yeah, and I won't be involving any ROM hacks or obviously fan games because it's the main series games I am doing a video on. So yeah, let's get this started. But I should note as well, for one of the games I will be showing ROM hack footage, but the ROM hack itself doesn't really change the game, just changes the levels of the Pokemon. You'll recognise it. In the number 5 slot we have Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Crystal. The reason why I'm including the remakes is because there is a... Well, I wouldn't really have many cons if I didn't include the remakes, unfortunately. So, there is that. The reason why it's in the number 5 slot is, for the good points of the game has multiple regions, Johto and Kanto, and is the only such main series game to actually do so. The story, just like first generation, is also unique. After, I'd say 4th gen, it started getting repetitive, just with a team trying to destroy the world. But here, Team Rocket wasn't trying to destroy the world, they were just trying to get their boss back. And in 1st gen, they were just trying to make a living. So, that is one of the really good points about this game actually. The story is unique. They also improved on many aspects of the game. For example, the Pokemon, obviously. There was the pack. They split it into, you know, things like this, TMs, items, Pokeballs, everything like that. They also added in a couple new types, which did help balance things out very well, actually. Another good thing is it actually shows, it's the first game in the series that actually shows you from a previous game, which is obviously Red up at Mount Silver. As you can see, I'm only here in Crystal, so I'm actually unaware as to whether he's actually in this game. But yeah. As for the cons, and every game has their cons, the puzzles that I was struggling with last episode in Zeta, yeah, I honest to goodness cannot remember if they are here in this game. In fact, hold on a second. Okay, so they are here too. I wasn't sure, unfortunately, so yeah. These puzzles were damn annoying. At least they're optional, which is why I can... That's a good thing about that, I suppose. But it's still a con having them in. Another thing that is exclusive to the remakes, unfortunately, is Voltorb Flip. This game did good in keeping these slots. The remake, however, didn't. Voltorb Flip was really annoying. The same thing goes with the Roman legendaries. They were not roaming in this game, but as soon as Heart Gold Soul Silver came around, thanks to Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, roaming legendaries were a thing. And if you've tried to catch a Roman legendary, you know just as well as I do how annoying it is if you don't have anything to trap them in. And especially more so in Heart Gold Soul Silver when they have Roar, so they can get out of the battle anyway. At least I'm pretty sure they had Roar in Heart Gold Soul Silver. Another bad thing, this is also exclusive to the remake, is there is no more Wi-Fi, and that is the same for 5th gen all the way down. There is no more Wi-Fi battling, trading, anything like that. This last point for this entry doesn't apply to me as much because Geodude... yeah, just Geodude really. But the annoying gyms on the first playthrough, as obviously I've not even faced Morty yet, I've only faced Whitney. Whitney is the bane of a lot of players' existences the first time through if they don't know what's coming. And the same actually goes with Claire, though her Kingdra is just annoying as hell. So that is another bad point about this. The gyms, sure they're hard, yeah, but some of them are more annoying than hard. But yeah, I suppose on to the next entry. Ah, good old Vermilion City. Unfortunately though, there is still quite a few cons to this game, but we'll go over the pros first. Fourth is Pokemon Yellow. The reason why I didn't choose Red and like that is because this is the most refined version of the first gen games, and it's also the first Pokemon game I ever had, so it sits nice and proud in my heart as one of my favourite ones. The game itself, and this is another pro, is very simplistic. Obviously, it's first gen, there isn't too much complicated stuff going on. Nice fun game, yeah. The game also has some pretty interesting TMs and also some interesting tutors, which was another good point of it. For example, if you wanted, and I did have this, I had a Pikachu with Payday, level 100. Unfortunately, not on this, because, well, in fact, do I have, yeah. It's not on this one because that was on my cartridge and the cartridge went through the wash. So I don't have Pikachu any longer. I also had a Graveler that knew Metronome, which was another tutor move. You could get Pokemon legitimately with Metronome even if they don't learn it normally. And heck knows people love Metronome Wars these days. Another good point, I can't exactly show it here, is this is more just the little details. The reason why everyone compares this to Ash and his Pikachu is mostly as Pikachu actually refuses to use the Thunderstone if you try to use it on him, and that is a nice little detail that makes this game really charming. Also, until 5th gen came around, it was one of the only games which you could buy stones, I'm pretty sure. If you go to Celadon, you could actually buy the elemental stones, which was another good thing. If you had a Jolteon, if you had an Eevee and you wanted a Jolteon, you could buy a Thunderstone and use it on the Eevee. Unfortunately, you couldn't get a Raichu. That was the only thing that you pretty much couldn't get. The cons for the game, and there is cons to every game. Hidden HMs. On your first playthrough, you might have disregarded this cave here. Might have. And even if you didn't disregard the cave, you would still need to have 10 different Pokemon either in your PC or just rather in your Pokédex in order to get Flash. If you didn't know Flash existed, which at the young age I didn't, you would have had to have gone through Rock Cave on your lonesome without any kind of assistance from Flash. That was really annoying, and I know that firsthand. This is more just a con with this version. Pikachu was pretty much not useful at all against Brock, because obviously electric versus ground. So that was an issue. I had a few funny runs against Brock when I was really young. I remember the first time I beat him, I had Pikachu and Rattata use Tail Whip constantly on his Geodude and his Onix, and Pidgey using Gust actually taking out Geodude and Onix. That was until of course I found out about Mankey and Nidoran learning fighting type moves. And also having Butterfree no confusion, because they didn't have any rock type moves. That was pretty much the only way you had to take out the gym leader in Pokemon Yellow, unless you were dumb like me and went with brute force and lowered their defense to pretty much nothing. The biggest con to, well, the second biggest con to this game is the fact that Pokeballs can miss. For example, you were to go up against Mewtwo. You could miss your Pokeballs, which was the most frustrating thing. I mean, you could throw like 50 Pokeballs at something and maybe only 10 would actually hit it. I am so glad they took that out in 2nd gen, and that was actually a pro I forgot to mention. They removed the dang Pokeballs missing mechanic, and just to decrease the catch rate. That was a good sign. Now this last con is not actually in the game itself, but it's more what's dragging the game down for a lot of people. The game is still running actually. The issue is with Gen 1ers overblowing the whole game, saying it's the best thing since cut bread. It's not. The game has its cons. The game is... Oh, my mistake. I accidentally hit the book that I've got all the points in. The game has its cons. Every game has its cons. There is no best out of anything in the Pokemon universe. I prefer 5th gen, personally. I could prefer 5th gen, rather. Someone could prefer 6th. Really, there is no best game. And the Gen 1ers that are saying it is the absolute best, there is nothing that beats it, that's one thing that really drags this game down for a lot of people. Sad to say that, unfortunately, but that is the truth. Anyway, on a lighter note, on to number 3. And for number 3, we have Pokemon Diamond. I'm not including Pearl because, yet again, this has some sentimental value to me. So, yeah. But yeah, when I say this game has some sentimental value, I mean this is the second game in Pokemon I ever owned. I still have the cartridge, thankfully, and there's like 680 hours on it. As you can see, this is the ROM hack, Bloody Diamond. I'm just using this to show off the game. So, don't mind me. I'm not actually doing anything. Don't worry. You had to block the door out. Anyway, on to the pros of this game. The best thing that this generation done was add the physical special split. I mean, you've gotta hate how Gengar was a ghost type, and he was a damn good special attacker, yet every single ghost type move in the game prior to 4th gen was physical. It made ghost type useless. Especially in 1st gen when there was only 3 ghosts, Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar. Not including the actual ghosts. And like I said also, this game also added a lot of sentimental value to me, that's why it's sitting at number 3 over Yellow. So, yeah. The game also added plenty of unique Pokemon. like Bronzong, Luxray, Garchomp, Spiritomb. Lots of Pokemon like them. People always seem to remember those Pokemon. And of course, who can forget my personal favourite, Dialga. He is my personal favourite legendary. So that's another thing with this game. This game gives Dialga as the main legendary. And I love it for that. The cons, obviously, there is going to be some. This is where the travelling legendaries were introduced, starting with Mesprit and Cresselia. I cannot remember off the top of my head if there's any more in Diamond, but in Platinum I know they did add a few more, which was the legendary birds from Kanto. So that was a big issue. Like I said before, they are annoying as hell if you don't have anything to trap them in, which you might not actually have had anything, so yeah. There was lots of events that were also not released, and if they were only released in certain places where you might not be able to get them. I'm of course talking about the Arceus event that was never released, and I'm pretty sure Shaman and Darkrai weren't either. I can't remember. It's been so long since the events were with this game. However, for Darkrai and Shaman, there is a glitch to get them legitimately using the Void. So, yeah. Unfortunately, Arceus, I do not know any way to get him. I've seen a video on the Void getting to him, but I doubt it. I doubt it's true because I've only seen one, and it's probably fake. If it's just one. And of course, once again, another big con with this game is there is no longer any Wi-Fi. Sad. I love this game. This is probably my most played Pokemon game. Because, well, as you can see, pretty easy to randomize. And I can put it on my DS and play it on the go. Randomizer on the go. Ah well. On to number 2. Whoa, I know the footage does not match the game. I know. But there is literally no way for me to show this game, as unfortunately I do not have a 3DS with a capture card. Because in the number 2 slot is ORAS, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So because I don't have a capture card, yeah, this is as good as we're getting. Sorry about that. Let's see where I was actually. Oh yeah, Solrock, Swampert, Skarmory, Rayquaza, Ludicolo and Phanpy. I believe you were a HM slave, yeah. Anyway, on to the good points about ORAS, not Emerald, which is what this is. The controls from X and Y were a lot more refined, and by that really I mean you could actually move how you wanted using the stick, and you were not restricted by those dang roller skates. What could have made X and Y better with the movement is if the roller skates were equipable just like the bike. That was the biggest downfall for me with the movement. I hated being restricted to the roller skates when I wanted to move where I wanted. ORAS fixed that, thankfully, and also introduced the Pokemon hiding in the tall grass, which allowed you to get Dream World abilities, or hidden abilities. It also allowed you to get some egg move Pokemon like the Poochyena, the first thing you see, Firefang, egg move. Brilliant. I actually took him all the way through the game with me. Still use him. There was plenty of functions built in from X and Y that were developed a lot more, like the PSS, and Super Training was definitely a thing there as well. Which also brings me on to my third point for this. It caters more to the newer players than it did before. Super Training is one thing, Hordes, if you so want to EV train without using super training, Hordes were a good source of that. You got plenty of EVs out of that. And of course, it is the latest game in the series, so obviously it's all the rage right now, so yeah. But of course, there is the obvious Delta episode. They've never remade a third game in the series, so it was nice that they put that in, saying, okay, we're not putting it in, you know, we're not making a third gen remake of Emerald, but here. And yeah, Crobat, I always get Crobat, I don't know why. And of course, with Delta episode comes the one and only Zinnia. Pretty much the most bae character in Pokemon. I mean, as you can kind of see if I minimize these, yeah, I went there. Anyway, obviously it has its cons, and this one isn't a con right now, but considering what they've done with X and Y, this could potentially become a con for the game, unfortunately. With X and Y, they did not patch the game to include likes of Primal Groudon, Primal Kyogre, Mega Rayquaza, things like that, the moves. They didn't patch the game for that, so they cannot be traded. Which means that X and Y, if you want to battle, it's not the best, because other people are restricted because you're playing on X and Y, and if that happens when Z comes out, Oras is obsolete with battling, which is unfortunate, because Oras is a really good game. Pretty much the whole reason I didn't put an Emerald into this list, you know, with Oras, like I did with Heart Gold, Soul Silver, is because there's nothing in Emerald that isn't in Oras, I find, apart from the Battle Frontier, but I never really went to the Battle Frontier, so yeah. Because, I mean, yeah, this is the first I got an Emerald, before I just ditched it, unfortunately. The other thing, and this is more just a 6th gen con in general, is changing Steel's weaknesses, and Fairies not being really good at their job. I'll explain. Steel, Bronzong and Metagross were always known for having 2 weaknesses. Bronzong especially, with both his abilities catering to one of those weaknesses. So you have to either guess, is this a Heatproof Bronzong or a Levitate Bronzong? And because Bronzong is one of my favourite Pokemon, it's just a thing to me, I just don't like it. Bronzong just doesn't feel as strong as it used to be. And really this is because Fairies were implemented as well, so yeah. The reason why I'm saying Fairies are not really too good at their job is, and bear in mind this is my opinion, so don't go, oh yeah, you're just one of those people that hate Fairies or whatever. I'm justifying my response here. The reason why is Fairies are only really good at taking out 2 evolution lines. The Hydreigon evolution line and the Scrafty evolution line. Both being Dark and Dragon and Dark and Fighting. So 4 times route to Fairy. Most other dragons, e.g. Flygon, Dragonite, Garchomp, are all 4 times weak to Ice. And Ice type moves can be learned pretty easily, especially because of Ice Beam. So only one dragon is really properly threatened by Fairies. The other issue with Fairies is, okay, they're immune to Dragon type moves. There isn't that many Dragon type moves, really, that... Yeah. And even then, a dragon doesn't have to be sealed to a dragon type move. If you switch into a fairy, they see that, they might have a move in their arsenal to completely counter you. For example, I don't know if, say you send out a fairy against a dragon expecting them to do a dragon type move. They might have used an electric type move predicting that on your Azumarill, and Azumarill could get fried. So it's not the best either at defending against them. So all in all, Fairy is just a really mediocre type to me. That's really why I don't use them too much. But anyway, that's going more into types and everything. I'm here talking about my top 5 favourite Pokemon games. So let's move on to number 1. And a lot of you might hate me for this choice. Good old Black and White, and Black 2 and White 2. This being White 2. The reason why this is my top choice, or rather the reasons why this is my top choice. I'm not one that normally goes, oh yeah, I care a lot about the story. But for this game, sure, first gen and second gen, they were unique in their stories. This game, out of all the games that went, okay, here's an evil team that's trying to destroy the world, this game goes into the most detail and actually gives a good story. Let me explain. First off, you have Black and White. You go through your adventure, you take on N, you take on Ghetsis, you save the world. Okay, that's the same as any other. But the unique thing about 5th gen is that it got Black 2 and White 2. This game is essentially a direct sequel to Black and White, and not just a third game in the series, like every other. Which is, at the end of the day, they have to kind of do that with Z to actually really make it worth buying for me. Sure, they might add some new Megas, and there's the new form of Zygarde, but they're gonna have to really make it a sequel to draw me in, because that's what this game done. It actually gave a story and gave a sequel to it. Not only that, but if you played Black and White, which I did, I have Black and White, and I also have White 2. If you use the Unova Link, you can actually encounter some special events within Black 2 or White 2 that actually uses your first game's character name. So, just going for example, my first game, Black, I was named Dylan, obviously. In White 2, I named myself something else because, well, no one was really watching me. The characters, after I'd done the Unova Link, made references to Dylan, my old character. And even then, some unique battles that wouldn't have been accessible otherwise. But, again, paying reference to the old game. I mean, hell, Bianca, I believe, had the same team as she did when you faced her then. So that was something that really drew me in. Even though there is 2 games with the story like this, the story to me is still easy to understand. Mostly as it's the same kind of thing. Guys try to destroy the world, but this really expands on what happened after the first game, and that's what really brings me in. The graphics, a lot of people were saying were too ambitious for the time, but in my opinion, it looks amazing for the DS. It actually looks really, really nice. Not only that, but White 2 also made one of the most crucial changes. I don't know if I've actually got enough Pokemon to show off what I'm meaning. Oh yeah, this is a randomizer. That's why I've got Celebi. I completely forgot. I had randomized this and I was playing this at college, just in case you're wondering. I don't really... Well, actually, yeah, I'll just put one of my party members in here real quick. Yeah, I mean, imagine seeing a Celebi with Muddy Water, and a Carnivine with Rock Wrecker. Wrong button. It's been so long since I played this. Right. Okay. Wait. If you do this, I can move both of them at once, moving whole boxes in one fell swoop. This was a very damn crucial change. Because have you ever tried sorting your boxes in black and you have pretty much every single box full to the brim? It's not fun. I did it. Oh. That was something else with the game that I completely forgot about. How the seasons actually change the areas. Like, if it was, yeah, it's autumn actually. If we go back to the first route, well, the second route, you'll actually find areas that are that were blocked off are now filled with leaves, and you can get special items. I actually really like that. It brings a sense of realism to the world, kinda. Sure, it was only a month real life that you had to go through to actually, you know, I believe it was a month anyway. But yeah, it added a sense of realism. Of course, even my favourite of the main series games has its flaws. The cons for Black and White, and this is specific to Black and White, it didn't have any Pokemon from previous generations until after you beat the Elite Four and unlocked access to the eastern side of the Pokeball, you know, the center bit. I'll show you what I mean. Oh yeah, that's another good thing as well. The free space. Everything you wanted to use frequently, you could put in here. And it would, yeah, it'd be safe. Yeah, this kind of area over this way. This town, this town, this town. They were sealed off until you beat the Elite Four. They had the Pokemon in them from previous generations. And there was also sometimes I can't remember the exact term. I'm just gonna call them swarming. Yeah, swarms. Swarms of Pokemon from previous regions appearing on routes. That was, you know, restricting them like that was a bit bad. Even I'll admit. Obviously though, another big con to this game is there is no longer any Wi-Fi. And I loved playing this game. This was actually the first game I actually started playing Wi-Fi on. Not White 2, but Black. And I also played against my friends a lot in Black, so I've got a lot of fond memories. I've also got a lot of fond memories of making Pokemon here. And this actually brings me on to a pro I forgot to mention. It cared a lot to people making new Pokemon that were newer to actually training. Because you got things like the Macho Brace for free, if you actually knew where to look. The gear station was actually, it was a lot easier than the Battle Tower back in Diamond. So it was easier to get battle points. I believe also White 2 also added in a few other ways to get battle points, like this and the World Championships. That was another good thing about White 2 actually. The World Championship bringing back every gym leader and champion from previous generations. That was amazing, especially seeing Blue again after so long. Even Cynthia. Hell, Misty also looked nice. But yeah, it catered a lot to the new players, which I think it was the first game to actually start doing that. Because Diamond and Platinum and everything, they certainly didn't have that. Well, I suppose they did with the power items, but yet again, they were harder to get, to find. But yeah, this is pretty much my favourite game out of the Pokemon series. Even though I don't play as much as Diamond, I've got so many fond memories. It's been great to me. But yeah, this has been Scottish Boy 112 with my top 5 main series Pokemon games. To recap, we have Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver and Crystal at slot 5. Slot 4 we have Pokemon Yellow. Slot 3 we have Pokemon Diamond. Slot 2 we have Oras. And slot 1, Black and White and Black and White 2. And this is completely disregarding the literal garbage Pokemon that everyone was so controversial about, and why people hate this gen as well. But hey, every game's had their questionable Pokemon. So yeah, this has been Scottish Boy 112, signing out.